Donald Trump just exploded on Elon Musk, right as his own budget scandal went up in flames. Billionaire drama, check. Policy meltdown, double check. And now, Republicans are desperately scrambling to keep their political house of cards from collapsing on national TV. Just listen to Senator Elizabeth Warren. She's pulling the curtain back on what's really going on behind those closed Republican doors.
Democrats have got plenty of amendments. The Republicans are stretching them out. So every vote, instead of being 10-minute votes or 15-minute votes like we often do in votaramas, the vote on Planned Parenthood ran for an hour, that they kept it open. And we all presume that's because they're all behind closed doors trying to figure out how they get the votes to get this thing through.
So you think that they're also helping stretch this out because they don't have the votes for a final passage right now?
Well, why else would they be stretching it out? If they actually have their votes, why wouldn't they be on the floor right now, rushing us through our amendments and then going to the vote? Look, the bottom line stays the same. When you read the bill, and the Democrats insisted that the bill be read aloud, it's nearly $1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid.
Republicans are dragging their feet like kids avoiding bedtime, and it's because they know they don't have the votes. If they did, Trump's budget would be flying through the Senate faster than he flees depositions. But instead, it's all stalling and sweaty backroom panic. Even John Fetterman, who looks like he could bench press a Ford F-150, admitted he was exhausted and just wanted to get back to his family vacation. That's how messy this is, and the chaos, it's not just from Democrats. The budget is taking incoming fire from the right too, because Elon Musk of all people is out here roasting Trump's proposal like it's a crypto scam, which is wild because Trump just tried to sweet talk him like a desperate prom date in that Maria Bartiromo interview. But instead of sealing a bromance, he seems to have kicked off an all-out civil war on the right. And it's only getting louder. But what is Trump saying about it?
This was a massive decision.
Mr. President, have you spoken to Elon Musk? What happened there?
I think he's a wonderful guy. I haven't spoken to him much, but I think Elon is a wonderful guy, and I know he's going to do well always. He's a smart guy, and he actually went and campaigned with me, and this and that. But he got a little bit upset, and that wasn't appropriate.
Why did he get upset? He just wasn't getting what he wanted?
Look, the electric vehicle mandate, the EV mandate is a tough thing for him, I would think. I don't want everybody to have an electric car. I campaigned on, you have choice. If you want a gasoline powered, if you want a hybrid, I love the electric. I love his cars. I think he's fantastic. But not everybody should have that. And not everybody wants that. And Biden, who's so stupid, he said everybody has to have an electric car by 2030. Okay? I think he said by 2030, which is in 5 years, people don't want that. And how do you do that when you don't have enough electricity? You go to California, where they want everybody to have an electric car, and yet they have brownouts and blackouts every weekend.
Now look, I hate to say this, but Trump accidentally stumbled into a half-truth here. Elon Musk, he's not mad about what's in the bill, he's fuming about what's missing. Big, juicy government handouts for his companies. It's never about healthcare or working families. Elon's just mad he didn't get a golden ticket from Uncle Sam. But of course, he wraps it all in freedom and phony outrage. And that performative whining is exactly what triggered Trump's latest meltdown on Truth Social. Here it comes.
Elon wrote on Twitter, "What's the point of a debt ceiling if we keep raising it?" Also asking, "All I'm asking is that we don't bankrupt America," and saying hitting the debt ceiling is the only thing that will actually force the government to cut waste and fraud. That's why the debt ceiling legislation exists. In response to Elon's opposition, Trump wrote, "Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate. It is ridiculous and was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidy than any human in history by far, and without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production in our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Doge take a good hard look at this. Big money to be saved."
This is art. Peak petty billionaire on billionaire slap fight. And honestly, it's glorious. Trump's threatening to have Doge, yes, Doge, the meme dog, come for Elon's government money like some weird crypto mob boss. I mean, Please, somebody bring big balls back just for this. Delete all of Elon's subsidies and live stream it. What we're watching is a full-blown Republican meltdown. On one side, Elon, billionaire king of online tantrums. On the other, Trump, MAGA overlord of mean Facebook posts. And trapped in between, every spineless GOP senator wondering which tantrum will cost them fewer votes. Meanwhile, no one's thinking about actual people. Constituents don't exist in this battle. It's just billionaires fighting over which grift gets funded. As Warren pointed out, they're literally rewriting the bill as we speak, and no one knows if the House will even touch it. The Senate is paralyzed by fear of Trump, fear of Elon, fear of everyone except the people who voted them in. If this bill collapses, and it really could, it won't just embarrass Trump, it'll crush his entire legislative strategy. Because without the MAGA fog machine behind it, none of this stuff is even remotely passable. And that's exactly what Adam Schiff was warning about right here.
Joining us now is Democratic Senator Adam Schiff of California. He's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Schiff, thank you very much for making the time to join us. I know that it was your amendment that was just on the floor. It was your amendment to guarantee food assistance be continued for families with children under 12, and every Republican in the Senate, 53 of them, voted against your amendment to guarantee nutritional support for children under 12 in this country. Did you think you had a chance of at least peeling off a few Republicans on this one?
I did think there was a chance of peeling off at least a few Republicans because, after all, how do you make the argument that feeding hungry kids is somehow a waste? But that's the argument they're making. They made one additional argument, which is we'd have to go back to committee to fix this, to make sure we're not leaving kids hungry, and we're not willing to spend the time. That was the other argument. This bill is bad in innumerable ways, in taking health care away from people, but in taking food away from our kids. And what's more, not just the kids of today going hungry, but they're also borrowing from our kids and grandkids to pay for this tax cut. So it's just a terrible betrayal, really. And I think about my parents' generation, the greatest generation, and I think about this generation now as reflected in these priorities. And this is the selfish generation, the generation that says we're going to take away from hungry kids and give ourselves a tax cut. We're going to take away from our kids and grandkids, raise the national debt, take money from them to give ourselves a tax cut. It's just awful.
You heard that right. Every single Republican just voted against feeding hungry kids. Because apparently, in today's GOP, school lunches are socialism and malnourishment builds character. Schiff tried to sneak in a tiny bit of humanity, just food for children under 12, and they still said no. Why? Because it might slow down their billionaire tax cut buffet. This isn't a budget, it's a blueprint for cruelty, and Schiff nailed it. This isn't the greatest generation, it's the greediest. But buckle up, because what comes next is a truth bomb so wild, you're not ready for it.
You know, Senator, I've been reporting on what the Republicans, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and with the full support of Republicans in Congress, have done to USAID, in which by killing the United States Agency for International Development, they literally and specifically took food away from starving children in Africa and elsewhere. But right in the middle of a famine in Africa, they pulled the food away. And we have several reports now of hundreds of thousands of deaths as a result of what they've done by taking food away and taking medicine away. But in covering that, one of the things I was thinking, which I haven't really said, is they wouldn't do that in the United States. And it turns out your amendment tells me I was wrong about that.
Yeah, sadly, you would have been wrong if you try to make that distinction. It's just not about cutting off aid to those outside the country. It's about cutting off assistance food to people inside the country. And what's more, with respect to the health care cuts, there are now credible studies that thousands of Americans are going to die as a result of these health care cuts, maybe tens of thousands of Americans. So this is the cost, literally the cost to the American people of this bill: loss of life, more hungry families. And what do we get out of it? What's the benefit? Well, Lawrence, if people out there watching are making more than $5 million a year, they're going to get a tax cut of $346,000 a year. So if you're really doing well, there's a big tax cut coming your way. If you're a single parent trying to feed your kids, then you're in for tremendous hardship.
So just to recap, Trump, Elon, and their Republican fan club didn't just cut food aid abroad, they ripped it away mid-famine, triggering mass death like it was just another line item. And now, they're bringing that same energy home. Schiff lays it out, cutting food for kids, cutting healthcare, and yeah, cutting lives. Also, the ultra-rich can score a $346,000 tax cut. If you make $5 million a year, congrats. It's champagne season, but if you're a struggling parent, sorry, you're the sacrifice. And next up, oh, just wait. The military part is even more twisted.
And Senator, speaking of waste, in the mantra of waste, fraud, and abuse that Republicans want to use, I had occasion to drive by the federal building in Westwood in Los Angeles this weekend, which has the worst use of military troops I've ever seen in my life. It's the most peaceable place, as you know. There's no more peaceful federal building in America than that one in Westwood. And you have soldiers at blocking every driveway there in the most wasteful possible deployment of soldiers I have ever seen.
Well, I think that's right. And it's also having two other impacts now. One is we're very much in fire season. There are fires burning in California as we speak. And those guardsmen are needed to help us battle those fires once again, to help those frontline communities. And what's more, I think the morale is really starting to suffer now. That is, people who signed up for the Guard did so because they wanted to protect and defend their country. They didn't sign up to do domestic law enforcement, let alone to be used as a political tool the way Donald Trump is. So it is, I think, harming morale in the Guard. It is harming our defenses against fire. And it is really breaching the trust that Californians have in our own Guard. We love our National Guard. They're there for us in times of trouble. And this is just eroding that relationship.
California Senator Adam Schiff, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's get this straight. Donald Trump is using military troops not to protect lives, not to fight wildfires, but to stand guard at the chillest federal building in Los Angeles like it's under siege from yoga moms and Prius drivers. It's not just wasteful, it's pathetic. Those troops should be saving homes, not posing for Trump's tough guy fantasy. And Schiff is right. Morale is crashing, resources are misused, and the National Guard is being turned into Trump's personal security theater. It's not law and order. It's cosplay with real consequences. And while Trump plays dictator dress up, real families are losing food, healthcare, and trust in their government. Also, billionaires can hoard more tax breaks. If this insanity made you shake your head, smash that like, hit subscribe, and stay loud with us, because next, oh, it's juicy. Trump just got exposed and it's delicious.